It is easier to build children than mend adults.
I think identifying the problems and taking care of them is a lot easier than letting them go and dealing with the consequences later.
SOI as a model of learning is powerful.
What you are going to see is that the child is more comfortable with what they're doing. They have success with their reading. They're excited about school again because they know they can do it.
The teachers who run our program, they say they never want to go back to teaching without our program. That means a lot.
We're sick educationally and we don't know quite what to do. I'd like to be the doctor if people would let me.
My opinion of education today is that it's lacking in almost every area. And I do not blame teachers for that. I do not blame curriculum for that.
By the time you end up with a high school student who is not successful, you really have to stop blaming that the failure has been with teaching. There's no way they would have encountered poor teaching through all those grades.
After a while, education dropped out in favor of test scores.
Teachers are prepping students for the high-stakes test, and they take so much time in making sure that their classroom passes those tests that they lose valuable teaching time.
If I'm slow getting the material, and then the class goes on to the next lesson, then I've probably missed 2 or 3 concepts here, or 2 or 3 skills, or whatever it is. And now the next lesson is going to count on those, and I don't have them.
And we're dealing much more with behavior problems and weaker entering abilities, which means we're trying to do double time in the grade levels to catch up.
So why don't we turn it around? Train them first, and then take the high-stakes test. And I think if Congress, states, superintendents, whoever comes up with all of these things that need to be tested, if they would stop those first, get back to the basics for all educators and all kids, the kids would have a chance.
We're not teaching curriculum, we're teaching the concepts of learning.
Curve mouth, if you like.
Certified takes into consideration what the child needs to have to prepare them. And we do it through physical, we do it through workbook application, and we do it through teaching concepts of learning on the computer. So for an hour a day, 5 days a week, 5-year-olds are working on these 3 components to a very complex level.
The reason that we chose kindergarten through 2 is that we want to ensure that 1, everyone had the proper perceptual skills, that 2, everyone had the proper intellectual abilities, and then 3, that they got the proper content.
Track down each row, Natalie.
If you look at what children need to begin the learning process, much of that has to happen in the first 5 years of life.
We do screening for perceptual problems as a matter of course in certified learning, because we know that many students who have difficulty, particularly in the initial years of schooling, have perceptual problems.
Okay, let's mix them up and start again.
A child that doesn't have good auditory processing can't understand a direction when it's being told to them, can't understand the instructions on a page because they can't process it. Those children usually are shy, reserved, don't want anybody to know that they don't understand. What SOI does for those children is get those abilities back into place. When they are in place, the child becomes more outgoing. Their behavior changes both at home and at school because they have confidence in what they're doing.
They come out feeling better about themselves, feeling better about where they are in society.
Learning to pay attention is critical. So you have to provide students with opportunities to focus their body, their vision, their listening, so that the brain has a chance to process information successfully. The first component that we pay attention to is called group, and that's where up to 8 students at a time for 20 minutes in the day do exercises that develop visual, auditory, and motor ability, so that we can find at 5 if there is a problem within the child that would cause them to not be able to focus on what they read and write and have difficulty with the areas of motor organization. 20 minutes a day, we also do what's called workbook, so that we can begin training eye-hand coordination, and we start teaching the basic concepts of comprehension. And then the third component that they do for 20 minutes a day is on computer. Teaching children not curriculum, but understanding concepts. Every child is going through the curriculum independently of any other child. So they are prepared on the computer. There will be some who even finish and go into first grade curriculum in kindergarten. They've gone all the way through and they finish group, workbook, and computer. And it automatically, at no additional expense to the student, clicks over and goes into first grade. We teach the children that it isn't a competition. It is our own personal development. And that, to me, is part of where we start to teach the concepts of no bullying, which is a big aspect of our schools these days. And it starts with honoring children. Each child learns differently at their own pace, and that changes all through the year.
Some people will take one day to do a lesson that's slated for a week. Other people will take 3 weeks to do a lesson that's slated for a week. But there is no stigma attached to the fact they've taken 3 weeks, because when they get done with the 3 weeks, everybody in the class knows they have mastered that information. And that's, even in some of our classes, that's celebratory. I mean, they say, John, you made it. That's great.
Great.
The student who has difficulty is going to get help immediately. That's how the system works. That's where the help belongs, is immediately when there is a problem, and then we try to do our best to do something about it.
So if we open it, we can check it. How many are there?
There is no work that the teachers have to go through in order to use our program. It's all delivered to them, and they're trained in how to utilize the materials and the structure.
There's been a number of teachers who have used this program for quite a few years, and what they have found that when they have a classroom that has started their day with certified learning, the rest of the day goes well. Some of the most rewarding things that we get here at SOI are cards, letters, and phone calls from parents whose students have been through the program and have been successful. That to us here is what we want. Administrators and teachers, if you're interested in the Certified Learning Program and you want to see it in person, please give us a call and we can set you up with a school that you can attend, visit, and see the program in action.